I'm going to show you a number of pieces that I've done just to show you what happens with them. So this was creased first and then painted, and I did a big piece like this, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's some very, very fine lines where the creases were made before the paint was applied in straight lines. So this one obviously is all erratic, but this one was in straight lines, and it has a really nice effect. So I would quite like to show you that. And this is when a bone fold really comes in handy. I mean, you could wet it a bit so that it actually takes on the folds a bit more. Well, I wanted them not the same length apart, so I can go in and mess that up as well. And I also wanted them to be a mess, organic again. So I've done the folds, and then I really want more than that. I want it to be so it's evidently folded, so I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of water on there. Soften it all up and make sure the holes are really going to stay there. I suppose it's a bit like tie-dyeing, isn't it? You're trying to end up with marks that you're sort of partially in control of. So, let's see what's happening now. And this isn't necessarily like the end of it. You could go into it afterwards. I need the bone folder on there. That's what I've got. I'm just going to pull in those creases nice and tight. Or some of them at least. And then look. And if it rips, it doesn't matter. Well, I don't think it matters. You can be far more careful than me. It's very much about who I am, this is. Impatient. Those of you that know my work will know that I started off doing the lace tree pictures. I'll put a link to a demonstration. They're about trees, and I don't know if anybody's read that beautiful book. In fact, I'll have to get you the author. The Secret Life of Trees. But to me, trees were, in ancient times as well, symbolise the female, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, and in many ways sort of lovely symbolic ideas of her status that she used to have, which she sort of lost over time. And it was partly to do with the persecution of women, I'm afraid, and the witch hunts and all that lot. Now already the paper has taken on a different quality. It's softened with the water and with having been squashed and manipulated like this. I'm so sorry, the light's really bad today, isn't it? Even these folds are as much about your own mark making. No two people would do the same. I mean, I'm so rough with everything, and somebody else might be much, much more delicate. So there's the possibility of doing it like that, or much more erratically as I showed you with the other one. And then pull the papers out and get your acrylic and then just wipe it on. And again, it doesn't matter how you do this, does it? You can do it with a cloth, you can do it with a paintbrush. It really doesn't matter. Right, and what happens is, of course, it sits in all the lovely creases where you've marked it. And you can straighten this out and completely change the look of it. I love that. And as always, my acrylic has been diluted with acrylic binder as well as with water so that it still sticks. I mean, it would do with paper. It's not going to move anywhere with paper. But if it was on any sort of anything else, a primed canvas, you would have to put the binder in. Okay, you get the gist. So you paint it how you want. Leave as much as or as little you want on it, can't you? But it's going to stick in those grooves, isn't it? Because that's what happens, as you know. Once you've crease the paper, you're not going to get the stronger pink pigment out of the crease. So that's one on a lovely straight lines, which I do really like. And I'll just show you, like this one, I'll just show you on the more erratic lines. And again, it's just, I'm just going to pull it over and I'm not going to worry too much about it. I've just put some water on a cloth there and see what it does. It's just lovely. I'm delighted with that. So it sort of sits into the grooves and you sort of paint on the surfaces. And of course you've got a lovely piece of collage paper. It sits onto the surfaces and the recesses of the paper remain white. And it just has such a lovely appearance. You could also print from these. You could take a piece of paper. I mean, you could, I'll just have a go at that actually. In fact, I might use, I love 2 or 3 colours at the same time on a print. So say you just cover it over. I mean, you could apply it with a roller. Oh my gosh, that's lovely. They're just stunning, aren't they? I'm just going to get a piece of rough paper. It does that, it's lovely. And then as well, what's interesting about the actual piece of paper is that the colours bleed through on the cracks and the creases as they have on the other ones. And it's that sort of look that you want. I really like that green. If I can bung a bit of green on that, I really like the green on there. And then of course the green will go through to the yellow. Oh my goodness, that's so lovely. Okay. And what's happened on the other side? You get some of the green coming through. And you could even try scrunching it up a bit more at this point. You know, just experiment. Just enjoy it. I think that's going to look really lovely when it's dry. Okay. You get these beautiful subtle marks coming out, don't you? I mean, that could be ironed down and stuck down.